Namaste, dear seekers. Welcome to today's discourse for April 5th, where Shri Brahmachaitanya Maharaj shares deep insight on the effect of association with saints. Just as a special herb absorbs poison without itself being affected, saints cleanse us of our impurities while remaining ever pure. Let's explore the immense power of Satsang and how it transforms our lives. A peddler vending medicinal herbs and roots carries a peculiar bolus which can absorb poison or toxins when placed over the spot of a venomous sting or a festering wound. When washed, the special property of the bolus is restored. In the same way, our sins are drained away in the company of a saint, while the saint himself remains pure and holy as before. Association with a holy man can perhaps be secured, but it is very difficult to maintain it. Generally, we seek the company of what we like, and because we are impure at heart, we seek the company of sensuous persons. Sense objects may not be harmful in themselves, but it is the company of sensuous persons that is debasing. Company affects us for evil or for good. A saint is a person who does not help us in the gratification of worldly pleasures, but on the contrary, weans us away from them. A saint is one who kindles love for God in our hearts. We should have an earnest longing to meet such a saint. Sense pleasures are very enticing, but when we feel that we should free ourselves from their clutches, we should resort to the company of the devout. When evil thoughts beset the mind, take recourse to Nama. Those who see everything as the manifestation of God and the universe as his pleasurable amusement alone find true and lasting joy. That is why the saints always talk of God. Saint Tukaram used only to utter the name of the Lord, Vittal, Vittal, but its sweetness far surpassed that of the best of our music. Saints feel deep and sincere compassion for us. We cannot even gauge its depth. Because our mind is steeped in sense pleasures, we take their advice lightly, though it is in our interest. When we are ill, we take the prescribed medicine even if it is unpleasant to taste and smell. Then why should we not attend to the benevolent advice of the saints as an antidote to miseries of worldly life? Even the apparently harsh words of a saint do not hurt, because he is constantly in communion with God. Absolute fearlessness is the chief mark of a saint. There is no cause for fear when one feels that he himself pervades the universe. Once, a notorious bandit named Kalyan roamed the forests near Sajangad, looting travelers and spreading fear. One day, he heard of Samarth Ramdas Swami, the great saint whose presence uplifted even the most hardened souls. Curious but with impure intent, he went to meet the Swami, planning to rob him. When he arrived, Ramdas Swami was in deep meditation. The divine calmness and purity that radiated from the saint deeply unsettled Kalyan. Unable to act on his dark intention, he stayed and listened to Ramdas Swami's discourse about the futility of worldly attachments and the power of devotion to Lord Rama. Kalyan was moved. His heart, until then full of greed and pride, softened. With tears in his eyes, he confessed, "Maharaj, I have led a sinful life." Ramdas Swami gently replied, "The past cannot be undone, but your future is still in your hands. Take Rama's name, surrender your ego, and serve the people instead of harming them." That very moment, Kalyan renounced his violent life. He became a devoted disciple of Ramdas Swami and spent the rest of his life in service, prayer, and spreading Dharma. The presence and words of a saint had transformed a robber into a saintly devotee. Just as Maharaj says, a saint's presence absorbs the sins and impurities of others without becoming impure themselves, like the bolus that draws out poison. Kalyan's heart was full of sin, but a moment in the presence of Samarth Ramdas Swami completely transformed him. This is the divine power of saintly association. Saints do not entertain worldly pleasures or validate our lower tendencies. Instead, they awaken in us a longing for truth and devotion. Their words, though sometimes sharp, carry profound compassion. Like Kalyan, if we surrender sincerely and seek the company of saints, our transformation is inevitable. The company of saints is not always easy to find or maintain, but it is the most powerful force in our spiritual journey. Saints cleanse us without judgment and light the path of devotion. Let us earnestly seek their association, obey their guidance, and keep the name of God on our lips. Through Nama, through humility, and through the grace of saints, we will rise above worldly bonds and walk toward liberation. May we always cherish and remain in the influence of saintly company. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.